Will the lore be explored? I mean, who is Taxman? What am I? Why am I?
This is a common question that we hear a lot, and yes, there is lore. There is a lot of lore that we haven't really made public yet. And the reason for that is that we want the lore to be discovered and explored by you, the players. All questions will be answered, but you will have to put some effort into it. You will have to search and puzzle things together yourself. There is a lore reason why Taxman looks the way he does. And that's why we can't really speak more about it, because we want you guys to discover it for yourself later on. But rest assured that we didn't just randomly take a laughing emoji without any thought behind it. It was carefully planned and executed. And in time you will understand and get your answers.
Well, alright then. Sounds like a challenge. So guys, if I do sound sick, it is because I am sick. I'm actually recovering. My girlfriend went to Chicago. One of the people that was there with her got bronchiolitis, whatever the fuck it's called. And she came back and was like, I got the sniffles. And apparently I went to go see her, and then I got the sniffles. But for her, it was just the sniffles. For me, it was the fight of the 9 inferno rings of hell. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we will be diving into the chilling world of Repo, the game that's taking the internet by storm and leaving players on the edge of their seats. If you've been hearing whispers about this game and wondering what the game was even all about, then stick around because I'm going to break it down for you. So, what exactly is Repo? Bro, look how many there are! This is ridiculous.
Look behind you. Look behind you.
This is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. At first glance, it might seem like the typical survivor horror game that you could find yourself playing, or even maybe a Lethal Company knockoff. But trust me, there's so much lurking underneath the surface. Repo isn't just about running and hiding, it's a strategy, fear, and psychological game that takes you in a world filled with horrors. You enter a world filled with tension, unpredictable enemies, and mysteries that will keep you coming back for more. Now personally, I've had this video on the back burner as I was playing the whole, to snap you all the way back there, I was playing the whole and I was thinking about Repo all in the same. But at the time, I didn't really think there was much lore to it, and when I started doing research on it, it felt harder to figure out what exactly was going on in the game. And so I never really knew how I was going to go about doing this. I knew the game was big, I knew the game was interesting, but I didn't think it really had anything to do with my type of storytelling or themes of my YouTube channel. Then I got into it, and it's a surprisingly in-depth game filled with so much lore and just enough detail to allow you to understand how we got there and what the bigger story at hand could be. So I can't promise you a coherent timeline of events, but I can promise you that today you will be leaving with a better understanding of the lore of Repo. Now, before we get into it, let me explain how this video is going to work. There is a lot of details scattered throughout the game, and so it really doesn't make sense for me to just right off the bat tell you everything you need to know about the game. So I'm going to tell you things separate, and then by the end, hopefully we will understand enough detail of Repo to the point that we are going to be able to create a timeline of events. Firstly, I'm going to speak on 4 separate things in great detail, or at least as much detail as possible. I'll speak on the environment of what was and how it led up to this current world that we're living in. Then I'll speak on the robots, the players, and the Taxman. Then the different locations are up next. And then finally we're going to hit up on the monsters and their lore. And then hopefully at the very end of the video, we'll actually be able to make a pretty decent timeline of events. Now before getting into the video, I would like for you guys to like the video and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel, as it does a lot. If you like the video, comment down below, do the holy trinity for me, bro, because honestly it really does make a difference. And without further ado, now let's get back into the video. Section 1. The world. Man, I like my deep voice. Did that sound cool? Did that sound cool at all? So, right off the jump, a lot can be seen at the very start of the title screen. We see a truck making its way down the road as it dodges debris and other wrecked cars, already insinuating that we are not the first to travel these lands from the guise of the Taxman, the main antagonist of the game, and this could very well be a worldwide run organization. Oh, and how could I forget, periodically we'd run over a human skeleton. So the humans are extinct, and if the humans are extinct, what exactly are these taxes going towards? So going very quickly, this is the game's premise. We play as these pill-shaped robots known as Semibots who are sent to these random locations with random loot and monsters, and we are tasked to collect a certain quota before leaving. In these different locations, all forms of lore can be found throughout the environment, weapons and mobs, and even within the valuables. Failing to do so will result in your imminent death. And if you are playing with others, you are mere entertainment for the Taxman, as it really doesn't matter who wins in the end, you all will end up being disposed of. But if you do manage to survive or meet the quota, you will be taken to these stations where you are allowed to buy upgrades, weapons, and even health to aid your survival for the next run. Of course, these areas also have lore in them as well, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so let's slow it down a bit. So as I said, we are going to slow it down a little bit, right? There are a few dates in which you can find within the game that'll very much help us understand where we stand in terms of the timeline. Let's go back all the way to the tutorial. Yes, the tutorial. For me, actually, I am what they call a veteran gamer. You know what I'm saying? So like, I personally don't play the tutorial. Every video game that I play, I usually skip it because I'm like, I'll learn via trial and error. I'm gonna go in the game, it's gonna tell me what to do in the first place, and we're just gonna go and we're gonna die and come back, try it again, die and come back. We'll learn through trial and error. And so I never once played the tutorial in Repo. Actually, I didn't. I went right into the game and I had to learn from people, because I streamed this, by the way, and people were teaching me that, hey, this is how you play the game, and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. But when I started making this video and I looked up on some popular theories just to get my noggin working a little bit, I seen dates just come up like Astro or Rastal, I don't even know how to say it, automations, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then people started talking about some 2184, the AI's prevention act. What the hell is that? This is in the tutorial mission. The tutorial actually has quite a few nods to what's really going on here if you are willing to look beneath the surface. So within the tutorial, you can find a poster that says this: make sure that no service technicians are present in the orientation facility before testing, in the accordance with the AI Workers Safety Act of 2184. The second one can be found being at Mechanic Station. Hopefully I'm saying that right. There you can find postings on board showcasing humans, speaking on reminders of beatings, and most importantly, a calendar that has been X'd out, then suddenly stops in April of 2097. Then finally, our last date we can find is in the Magic Academy. We can find a graduation photo of the class of 87. Now thinking about it in current times, we'd probably think something more along the lines of 1987, but I'm sure we are far enough in the future to the point that it is 2087 that they're referring to, giving us the beginning, middle, and end type of storyline so far. In 2087, the Magic Academy is still very much up and running. Humans are not yet extinct, and they are simply living their life of luxury pretty much. And then in 2097, 10 years later, something happens, whether it must be parasite, aliens, or monsters. I'll explain more on that later. And then finally we get the most present date, which I'm not going to say is the date we are in, because it just says of the Accordance Act in 2184, but we are at least of 2084, but we could definitely be further ahead, as it seems as humans made robots as AI to explore the surface, and most of them, if not all, humankind is dead. The reason I say this is because small details like the carts needing a human hand to push them makes me believe that humans were still very much alive when the Taxman was created, but realized the dangers and hid away in some bunkers, letting AI and robots do all of the work, sort of like WALL-E. Another thing I really didn't speak on are these stations where you are able to buy loot from the next outing. There are quite a few clues here as well. Not only was the building once a gas station, but outside you are able to see abandoned cars, ones that are surprisingly in good shape. Sometimes you can see there is a dead cashier, but he doesn't look like he's been killed by monsters or aliens. Rather, it seemed like something more airborne. Something like a disease or even maybe radiation. Or going the darker route, this man could have shot himself. As we've seen, there are guns in these stores, which makes it even more tragic as he'd rather go out on his own terms rather than fight whatever caused him to do that in the first place. And if you are playing with a friend, you can actually be thrown in a secret room above the shop, which you can find another guy who decided to drink himself to death, and sometimes you can even find a human grenade. Difference from the regular ones, making it known that humans did in fact try and fight back against whatever it was they were trying to fight, but then relied solely on the Semibots and other creatures to do the fighting. And finally, sometimes a storage room will spawn, and if you can get on the top shelf, there will be a newspaper clipping speaking on the headless man. Now, I don't have the footage for that at the moment, and so hopefully future Yuri at this point somehow found footage of this thing. So take it away, future Yuri. Get as much loot as possible. Oh. Extra head dead? Yes, maybe? Something terrible happened. Okay. Loot or lore? Section 2 about the Semibots and Taxman and the AI and everything, goddammit. Another big part of the mysteries of R.E.P.O are the robots and even the Taxman himself. It's hard to pinpoint what exactly the robots are, why the Taxman chooses to communicate with solely emojis, and how they tie into the human extinction. There are quite a few theories surrounding the robots and their origins. Something I pretty often see is that at some point monsters began to roam the earth, making it difficult for humans to survive in such an environment. And so it is strongly implied that a company by the name of A.R.E.P.O Automations are behind the creations of the robot and even the AI, the Taxman. In the tutorial mission, we see the skeletons have hats with the same logo on them, meaning they were once employees in search of testing the robots. And the fact that this bunker is still up and operational very well may mean that these are the last humans of the human race deep down below in the surface. Kind of like some, I don't know, Fallout type of situation where there's vault dwellers and then there's monsters roaming about upstairs, up on the surface. There's also a pretty popular theory that the Taxman are also the ones responsible for brain mapping the humans that have passed away from the dangers into these pill-like robots, allowing them another chance at life, but now forced to live in these dangerous loops of collecting valuables, dying, rinse, and repeating, seeing we have the ability to bring back our teammates back from the death. Now, for why the Taxman uses only emojis? A running theory in the fan base is that this is evidence that this is just not a local operation, but instead a worldwide one, making it more effective to resort to using emojis as he may be sending out robots all throughout the world. But I honestly think that's lame as fuck. I so much hope that that is not the case, and I seriously don't think it is. I feel like artificial intelligence, I feel like even now in 2025 has the ability to change language like from the jump, from one thing to another so easily. Google's done it, YouTube's done it, Bing's done it, like Bing of all places have done it. So if these minor AI like tools are able to do such things. Like hell, I could probably tell ChatGPT to just say, hey, write an essay fully in Spanish, and you know what, it'll probably do it. It probably would do it. I kind of want to know if it'll do it. Let's see if it does it. But I digress. But I believe that this is either an example of how the Taxman is doing this just for funsies to make it harder for the robots, or it could be a hint that the Taxman's original purpose has been tainted due to it being a bit broken, a bit old, hasn't been like software updated or some shit. The biggest evidence for that I could come up with is right there on the truck. The year should be at least 2184, right? And then now take a look at this monitor. The red, yellow, and white cords. You telling me you can make robot sentient beings, but you're telling me you can't afford to make an HDMI cable? This type of inconsistency makes me believe that the humans may have created the Taxman for whatever purpose, but clearly isn't updating the technology, more than likely making him all loony in the head. Section 3. Locations and the lore. Y'all like my voice that I'm doing? Y'all like the voice? You know, yeah. So far in the video, much of what I spoke on was me grabbing for straws, speaking on very small details that have no real proof behind them other than me hoping it makes the most sense in that order. But the locations very well may be the biggest lore components within R.E.P.O. In R.E.P.O, there are 4 areas in which you are going to be able to play in. You've got Swift Broom Academy, Headman's Manor, Mechanic Station, a station that I actually mentioned earlier, and of course the service station as well. This for me is when all of the lore I just built up really begins to come together. Let's start with the Swift Broom Academy. Upon arrival, we see a banner welcoming its new students. However, there are no students around. They probably died a long time ago. Looking around, you are able to find photos of both good wizards and evil ones, I guess. Then you can find this really out of place individual. A man in a suit and tie holding what looks like a needle. Not a wand or anything magical like that. Which leads into the next theory of mine, human experimentation. There's quite a lot of proof behind this, actually. While walking around, you were able to hear the audio cue off in the distance. Someone yelling. Yeah, like who's screaming like that? It could be played for spooks, or it could be a hint to the pain of those experimented on or in. Also, why would a school of all places have a need for jail cells? To keep the victims until they are needed, perhaps? To keep maybe whatever they're experimenting on in there, perhaps? This is something I will be getting more into later as well, but the monsters help with this theory. More specifically, the clown. In Swift Broom Academy, sometimes you can find a staff as a loot, and dropping this will... It's not great. It does a ton of damage and sometimes alerts the monsters, but the laser beam looks mighty similar to an attack that the clown does. Maybe the experimentations took place in hopes that they would create something to combat whatever it was roaming on the surface, but what is that something? For that, we need to actually travel to Mechanic Station, as they would be fighting an entirely different threat. This location is still up for debate as there are Denmark flags littered throughout, but on the desks it is said that we are in Greenland, also noted by the ice outside on later levels. But more importantly, there are whiteboards you can find which says what's in the ice, giving you some very The Thing vibes type of deal. What do you mean what's in the ice? A monster? An alien? A parasite? I'm more inclined to think that it's the latter, thanks to the annoying fucking duck that follows you around. There is a monster simply named Apex Predator, if you grab onto it, who is rather harmless. He's actually kind of cute at first, but then you quickly realize what he's up to. The duck will jump in your way, making you drop valuables or sometimes force you to click on him, and when you do, it seems its cute demeanor was just a facade as his body detorts into something more predatory. This could be the thing in the ice, a parasite, an apex predator able to burrow itself into a host and kill unsuspecting victims. There's also a theory that the mentalists, the alien looking dudes, was also in the ice, but I don't really think so. They don't seem very hostile enough to warrant the wizard's experimentations to me, as they don't chase you like any other creatures do. More so, they kind of just attack if they see you. It's my personal theory that in 2097 something happened, likely the parasite which killed all of the humans in that area. The wizards over in Swiftbroom heard about it and decided that the only way to fight back was to make a monster themselves. Thus they began creating monsters out of humans, having failed experiments like the animal or the dude who throws you, what's his name, Upscream, but noticeably had better ones like the clown and the cloak. But of course that backfired as well, because the monsters only added to the mayhem, and there is no better example of this more than Headman. At the Headman Manor, our final location, there is a Headman monster that is rather deadly early on in the game. He's much quicker than you and he will kill you very quickly if you are not careful, let alone he'll break a lot of things that is in front of him. He's just not fun to deal with. So the fact that there is an entire location surrounding around him makes me pretty much believe he was special right off the jump. And oh boy, was I right. In Swiftbroom, you can see messages on the wall saying to run and that the headmaster is here. Or people just apologizing to their love. It's actually really horrifying when you take a second to really think about it, but there is lore to be had here, so you can't be getting all sad on me right now. Sometimes you are able to find a headmaster grave room, confusing the player a bit, because how can the floating head be dead here but constantly trying to kill us out there? Well, the headman outside isn't the headmaster that was on the walls. That's more than likely maybe a relative, or maybe just someone who looked up to the headman himself. Maybe his grandson, maybe his son, we don't really know. Anyways, with the experiments in full effect and things getting out of control, the headmaster was probably under hella stress and wanted his father figure back, and thus he tried resurrecting him. But it's not the man he once knew. No, this thing was a monster, aimlessly destroying, aimlessly killing, and judging by the skeleton found in the principal's office, well, the headman / monsters got to him too. Leading us to a couple of fun facts that I'm not really sure where it should go, so I'm just gonna kind of throw it at you right here. But there is a musical box that spins the player around and around, and it looks like a wedding scene of some kind, but the husband noticeably does not have a head. And then going further, the gravestone only has his head being shown, and at the service station, the newspaper about the headless man, making me believe that on top of advanced AI, magic, aliens, and parasites, it was common for people to just be headless. Maybe a different species altogether. Section 4. Monsters and their lore. So I pretty much already said a whole bunch about the monsters, I'm realizing, so I'm thinking I'll just go down the list of the monsters in the game and then I'll speak on them briefly, and if need be, I'll give you more details. So let's start off with the Headman. He's the previous owner of Headman Manor and was likely the headmaster at the Swiftbroom Academy, but now is just a floating ancient head capable of destruction, i.e. breaking doors, biting underneath tables, and being rather fast. Though he gives up pretty easily if you just go and hide, but he is also quite squishy, so if you have a grenade or a landmine, does it work? Does landmines work with him? If you just have a grenade or a frying pan or anything like that, it does the trick. The robe. This one's more mysterious. No lore can really be found around him other than it being a him. The developer referenced his gender in one of his update videos, so there's that, I guess. He is definitely one of the scarier mobs, as he's completely quiet and he almost always one-shots. He's rather quick as well. However, I did manage to kill it once, but apparently he has a lot of health and it's just better off to just run away, hide away, and he'll dip out somewhere. but maybe the rubber ducky is just super OP. But that's kind of what I did to take care of him. But the best way to do this is to run, hide, and pray that he does not fucking kill you.
Yeah, I can beat it. Where are you? There.
I'm right here.
Yes, sir.
Then we have the apex predator. This duck has a parasite within it, likely from the research labs from Magnetic Station. Just don't touch them, and even if other enemies do hit them, they will come after you. So just be very careful around them, or just crush them at an extractor. It doesn't matter. Just kill them somehow, or ignore them as best as you can. Now, surprisingly, a mob that we didn't talk about that has rather a lot of lore behind is the Huntsman, or at least I think will begin to have a lot of lore behind. The most human monster of them all is the Huntsman. He's the dude who wears a blindfold and shoots at anything that he hears. I don't know if it's because we are just super small compared to regular things, or it could mean that he's mutated to some degree. I really don't know, but interestingly he seems to be from the Headman's Manor, as he's wearing human clothes, a tie and everything, and has blood pouring from his eyes. My guess is that he either knows that the parasite enters from the eyes, or maybe some future lore point will showcase that the magic experiments had something to do with sight, vision, or what have you. He's one of the few monsters in the game that can hear you, so just don't make a sound, as shots are pretty accurate when he shoots at you, and he does 100 points of health, so without any upgrades, well, you die in one shot.
Jesus Christ.
Come back here, bitch! Get back here! I'm tired of this!
I'm on 10 health. I'm on 10 health.
I
He
thought
shot-
you would have died first.
He shot me. He shot me.
Yeah.
We got him. Up screen, he's the fucking worst. Okay, not really, but he is annoying as hell, especially in the later half, because he works great in tandem with other enemies and even throws you and stuns you long enough for other things to kill you, and sometimes throws you right off the edge of the world.
Mirror! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh!
Oh shit! Oh shit! Hurry up! Hurry up, guys! Oh no!
But he's also rather weak, and so one grenade or a frying pan or a rubber ducky will literally do the trick. Shadow Child, he's just an Enderman. I'm not gonna lie, he's just an Enderman. If you don't look at him, you'll be fine, but even if you do, he'll yoink your ass and throw you just like the upscreen, but he's not the worst. But I do think what's terrifying about him is that he's a Shadow Child. If we were to say that these creatures are from the experimentations made from the magic individuals, then does that mean they were doing children experimentation above all else as well? And then we have the Mentalists. These alien dudes float around using their psychic powers to lift up things and slam you down pretty hard. Most believe them to be aliens due to how they look, or maybe an ancient human found in the ice, but I think they're just monsters like anyone else. We've seen items in Swift Broom have the ability to mind control via the love potion. We've seen another thing with the hour hand or hour clock, whatever it's called, where it slows down time for you.
What the hell? It's not here.
So cool!
Yes, sir.
What the fuck is... What? What is that?
Etc, etc. So I think, just like the clown, the Mentalist was creatures designed to fight back against the monsters on the surface, but obviously it went away. And how to deal with them? Just hide away. They don't really chase you. They kind of just linger and walk around, but they don't seem to be very hostile, and if you have one grenade, well, boom, they die. Then you got the Animal and the Rugrats, two of the worst enemies for me personally. I hate it a lot. These two were likely humans that have been mutated beyond belief. Just like the animal, he became a freaky thing, and then the baby, well, the baby just throws things. So maybe that's a grown-ass monster. It just looks like a baby. I have no idea what the baby's all about. Gnomes, they are just the worst as well. They actually like to break shit. So you kill them as soon as you see them. It's the best thing to do.
What the fuck? Move, y'all. Stop it, bro. They can jump. Oh, I forgot. No, I want to. Bro, there's way too many of them. This is a little ridiculous. My nose itch. My nose itch. Oh my god, bro.
Banger, same difference. They're just like human skulls that have dynamite within them. So if you're not careful, they will blow you up. So you just look, best way to deal with them is to run away and don't look back. Unless your loot's in the room, then you're fucked. You probably just lost that whole run. I'm so sorry.
Doing this, blow up already if you're gonna fucking blow up, you bitch! God damn! Lord have mercy. Why am I still alive?
We got Santa. I don't think his name is actually Santa. I just don't know what his name is. But he's a big man. He'll drag you in and one shot, and then he'll hit down really hard and kill you. I don't think I've ever survived a hit. I had like 120, 130 health. Maybe even 150 health at one point. He still one-shot me. So I don't know. He probably does a lot of damage. But just don't let him see you. And if he does see you, just try to like hide away behind like a wall or something. And he'll drag you, but you'll be fine. He won't drag you through the wall. We got Bowtie. Bowtie is just a super weak dude. He does scream at you and manages to run away. But if you want extra loot, just kill him because he's super weak as well. And I think you can pick him up and slam him down. We got Peeper. It's an eyeball that forces you to look at him until you block your line of sight. Maybe that's why the huntsman keeps his blindfold on. It could affect humans a lot more severely. We have to understand that we are semi-bots, so maybe it when the peeper would look at you, you would have to look at it in your eyes. And you will just go blind. So it could be that's what the huntsman had to go through, and he basically just adapted to his situation. And then we have the chef, which is basically a mutated frog. I think it just points to the slow escalation of experiments that the magic users used to do. I'll talk about this a little later, but for example, I think they started off with like inanimate objects, like the doll that freaks out, or maybe the Grimgar that like bites at you if you hold it too long. I think it started off with those and went to inanimate objects to where it became dolls, where I think the Reaper is that doll that I think. And then you have a few animals like the frog. Like I think the frog is a point to like, hey, maybe they started doing stuff with animals and then it became bad. And then they went to humans and children and they went from there. And yeah, like I said, the Reaper, maybe experiments were also on animate objects as well. You've seen, like I just said it, so we don't have to read that again.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Hurry up, beat her up! Hurry up, guys! No!
What the fuck is that?
No! Please! Help! Come on, guys! Come on to the beach!
What the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, bro, hell no.
Oh my god, bro.
I think Philip dead. I think Philip died. Yeah. Shoot her ass! Nah, beat her ass! Beat her ass! Why is no one beating her? Beat her ass! Slam her! Slam her!
Oh my god, bro.
Yes, sir! Okay, I got it! Tati? It wasn't me. It was you. I don't believe it. It was you.
And then we finally have spewers, which these things seem to be just another form of parasites, just not the apex predator of parasites. And one last detail before going into the timeline, almost all of these enemies when killed drops these purple orb things you can sell. The coloration is very similar to the laser beam, which seems to be like magic, like, I don't know, just magic. And this theory doesn't just come from me, it also comes from this person on YouTube by the name of Noir. Just check them out. But it comes from them. They mentioned how they believe that in this world, technology and magic go hand in hand, and how these cores are maybe a fusion of the two, and it's what's powering these monsters. So maybe these monsters are a weird sense of machine as well, which I think is just metal as hell. And guys, we have finally made it to the timeline. Now for the timeline of events, this is how I believe the rise and fall of society happened. The world was much like our own. Humans were once apex predators, had needs for cars, TVs, and gas stations, but also the world was much different than ours as well. There wasn't just one species of humans, of Homo sapiens, there were more. You had the regular humans that we know today, as I said, Homo sapiens. Then there were these ones without heads, headless individuals. And of course, there was magic and wizards. As time went on, magic became more advanced and technology followed suit, until one day, monsters came out of nowhere. Unexplainable creatures such as the Peeper and the Robe began terrorizing the masses and killing many. And to make matters worse, some kind of disease sprouted out of nowhere as well, killing humans where they sat or stood, making the surface largely unsafe. Though wizards, humans, and headless people learned to live with the new reality and decided to enact some plans to counteract what's happening on the surface, humans created these Semibots to go and collect materials, and the class of 2087 began experimenting on animals and inanimate objects and trying to figure out if they could make any type of fusion there. And with the help of technology, humans and wizards created this fusion core that allowed them to create beings such as the Upscream, the Animal, and the Chef. Then 10 years later, in April of 2097, in Greenland, they would find a parasite caked in ice. Actually, they found quite a bit of them, deciding if they would be able to use these creatures to fight the surface. But of course, one would break free and take control of a cute little duck and kill everyone there, ultimately releasing its kin amongst other parasites such as the spewer. Hearing of this, the headmaster would urge more experiments to be had, taking it up a notch, testing it on humans, children, and even women. Anything, giving dolls swords attached to their arms, using powerful stabs and combining it with human flesh, and even resurrecting the dead. All of these actions would lead to the death of many and the fall of Swift Broom and Headman's Manor, causing the extinction of mankind. Only that's what everyone thought. In the end, there wasn't just magic and researchers, there was also those making the Semibots and the AI Taxman. As a last-ditch effort, if all goes wrong, they wanted the AI Taxman to put human brains into Semibots, mapping their every human emotion and whatnot, and allowing them for a second life, and to slowly make the world inhabitable again. However, that also went south as Taxman became a money-hungry goblin who now forces these ex-humans to relive their worst nightmares over and over and over again for no good purpose, threatening them with death if they are to refuse or fail. And that leads us into the current state of the game. Now, based on like the whole purpose of this video, a lot can be said that I got wrong. A lot can be said that it's something new, or maybe other people got something different out of it, right? And that's the beauty of this game. This game came out no longer than a month ago at this point, maybe not even that. And there's been plenty of talk around it. There's been plenty of people who tried to craft a story that they felt was right and whatnot, but I wanted to crack at it because everything that I listened to, they would say, oh, it's just an AI Taxman, but they never really mentioned what the conflict was. People always would look at the robe and be like, he's weird, he doesn't fit in. But I honestly think like characters like the robe or maybe even the shadow child are two creatures that came from this dark entity, this dark area. It just started terrorizing the world, because I feel like for the experiments to go on and for the researchers to do something as stupid as they did, I feel like they needed to fight against some conflict. And so I basically put this whole yap session here because I love Repo and I've been playing it way too much, and I'm sure there's just a ton of lore that I missed out on, and maybe a ton of lore that I have maybe misunderstood. And so I just wanted to make this video for you guys. It's probably a lot shorter, probably not even 30 minutes. And you know, my videos are usually 40 to an hour to sometimes even 2 to 3 hours long. And so this is a very quick one, but I'm hoping that this gets a lot of traction. I'm hoping that a lot of people find the theories of mine interesting, and hopefully this can become a series on my channel where the creator continues to update the game and there's just different forms of lore that comes out, and maybe hopefully by the very end we have a coherent story. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, do the Holy Trinity. Why don't you subscribe, like, and maybe even comment down below what your favorite I don't know, what's your favorite summer activity? Because personally for me, I like the pool quite a bit. My summer activity is to go to the pool, swim around, and get as tired as possible, and eat some bomb ass Hawaiian bread mini sandwiches. Those are the fucking best after a long hot day. But anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you soon.
Sorry, it is kind of like Lethal Company.
Yo,
Oh my god!
Okay.
There we go.
Nice.
Right, bring it in.
Wait.
Wait.
Okay.
Hurry up.
Move.
Okay.
I did it good. Let go.
Fill up. No, fill up. Somebody get his head in there. Yay! We did that shit.
I got it. Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
Y'all big head ass. Oh shit!
Oh my god.
Why is she mad at me? I'ma die, niggas. I'ma die.
No.
I give him health. I got 90.
Here you go.
This nigga.
I got fucked up, bro.
Wait.
If it drops.
Take damage or
And
Drops.
he's dead.
Tati.
That was Ashley.
Oh, that was Ashley. I did not mean to, bro. I did not mean to.
I saw that shit, bro. That's what he comes back to?
Allah.
Yo, where you at? Why you do that? Why did you kill me, bro? Put it in.
Yo,
Put
look at
it
his screen.
in.
Talking about some-
Yo.
Paul,
What the hell?
Whoa.
nigga screaming, put it in. Yo. Okay, picture, thumbnail. Yes! Yes, sir! Oh.